Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to HemingwayLand.com, your source for quality, affordable land in the state of New Mexico. So, we've got another one of these white whale properties, one of these rare finds that I searched for months and months and months, and at this point over a year to get on the website. And I finally got one. This one is in Tres Piedras. Of course, as you guys probably know, we've had roughly a bajillion lots in Tres Piedras, all quarter and half acre lots. This one, however, is a 1 acre lot. And I've done a video, this one up here, about Tres Piedras, about this subdivision, about zoning laws and about wells and electricity and everything you would need to know if you're going to buy land out here. If you haven't watched that, we're going to put it down here on the bottom of the page. So below the photo gallery by the drone, we're going to have that video. I'd encourage you to watch that if you're seriously considering buying land out here and you haven't viewed it before. This video is going to be less about that and more about just how unique it is to get 1 acre of land out here and why that's so difficult. So, let's get to it. This is TSNM 4771. As noted, it's in Tres Piedras Estates in Taos County. It's up in Unit 1, Block 61, Lots A and B. It's a combination of 2 adjacent half-acre lots. As you saw up top, it's priced at $3,000. And if you come down here and click on the GPS coordinates, it will bring it up on a map. So, this particular property, these 2 adjacent half acres, sit like this right here. They have road access on one side and road access on a second side. And if you want to get a sense of what the property would be shaped like or look like or what that road access looks like, it looks like this. Okay. Now, it should be noted that this property is up in Unit 1. Let me just zoom back and I'll show you what I mean by Unit 1. So Tres Piedras Estates is roughly about 7 units in this area. This is all of that subdivision, and Unit 1 is the northernmost part of that subdivision. So this particular property sits, let's see, roughly about 4 miles from US 64, from the highway down here. My photographer, when he was out there taking a bajillion photos last year, said what is entirely logical, which is that the roads down here are easier to navigate, probably because they're traversed more often. The further north, the further south that you go within the subdivision, the less that is the case. That being said, as I look at the roads out here, these look like they'd be pretty well maintained. You've got some people who are living out here or who are visiting out here frequently enough that it seems like they drive out here. So you might be surprised, but the point is if you're going to go out and scout this property, you probably want to take a 4-wheel drive or some kind of big truck or something just to make sure. I wouldn't be surprised if these are actually navigable roads, but just be prepared for that. Anyway, point being, so this 1 acre lot sits up here. As you can see from the terrain, it looks like there's not a lot of trees on it. It's not as densely forested as this area. So if you come out here and you want to build, this is pretty flat, buildable land out here. You're not going to have to do a lot of deforesting of the property. You're not going to have to do a lot of landscaping is my supposition. Let me just go back down to the photo gallery because I want to just talk about why this is special. So, all right. So 1 acre lots in this area. Basically, when the developers came in, bought up all this land and subdivided it back in the 60s, they subdivided it into quarter and half acre lots. There are no 1 acres, there are no 2 acres, no 5 acres, no 10 acres. If you want to find a 1 acre lot out here, you need to find 2 adjacent half acre lots. And I have been trying for the past year to do that. I've come close about 7 different times, but each time there was a problem. Now, a couple of the problems are as follows. One is most of the people who bought this land bought it in the 60s. For various reasons, it became kind of devalued a little bit in the 70s because New Mexico counties started adapting a sort of uniform zoning code about things. Simultaneously, the New Mexico EPA invented a lot of rules about what is and is not a buildable lot. And it kind of became conventional wisdom in New Mexico that anything under 3/4 of an acre would not be quote-unquote buildable. Now, I'll get back to that in a second. But the point is that, so you had a lot of people in the 60s who bought these properties and then they became devalued in the 70s, and a lot of people just lost interest in them or just considered it, a waste of money or an investment that didn't work out or what have you. So that's the first reason. So a lot of those first generation buyers out here died at some point. They died in the 80s, they died in the 90s, whatever. And because the land wasn't worth all that much, the family never went through the process of properly probating the property and getting it into somebody else's name. I mean, most of these cases didn't have a will, etc. So what you run into today are a lot of second generation owners, people who've inherited the property. They really don't want it. Most of them have never seen it, but they pay the taxes on it every year. So the property basically, it's at a zero balance. But they can't sell it and I can't buy it. So that's the first thing you run into. The second thing is that the developers who sold off all this land in the 60s, I think they sold it at such an expensive price that most people couldn't afford to buy 2 adjacent lots. That's the first aspect of the developers. The second aspect is that this company that had all this land that was selling was called Southwest Land Corporation. And they sold, 50% of the properties for a couple of years. They were doing pretty well, and then they couldn't sell anymore for whatever reason. And they came up with this notion that, hey, we're going to give these properties away for free, and they do this at carnivals and fairs throughout the country. So if you won a prize, one of the prizes you could win would be like a 1/4 acre lot in Taos County. And the sales pitch at the time was, all you have to do is just pay the closing costs. You give us $1,000, and we're going to deed this into your name. And then, of course, they take the money and not deed it into the name. That is the story I have heard. So what you find is there's a lot of properties in this area that are still under the Southwest Land Corporation, I think it's called. But that company went out of business in the late 70s. Now, somehow 40-some years have passed, and the county and the state have never foreclosed on those properties. So what you find is they are still the major landowner in this area. So when you find people who do want to sell property, like I frequently run into, and then you try to look to see who the neighbors are, you frequently run into this bankrupt company that you can't get anybody on the phone, you can't make them an offer, you can't buy the land. So these are some of the reasons that it's so difficult to find a 1 acre out there. Now, let me just quickly jump back to the listing page for a second. Up here we have this link to this master spreadsheet of all the properties that we have in Tres Piedras. I've been keeping a running list not only of what's available but also of what's sold. Of course, the stuff in blue is what's sold. Because a lot of times we'll get calls from people who own land out there and they want a specific unit block lot. What I have encountered over the past year of selling these properties is that I'll get people who want a 1 acre property, mostly have not had any, and they'll say to me, can I just combine 4 1/4 acres? Can I just combine 2 1/2 acres? And then I have to explain, no, it doesn't work like that. These aren't adjacent. If they were adjacent, I'd list them that way. And by the way, I just want to say, I thought this was intuitive. I thought this was fairly logical, like Unit 1, Block 1, Lot A should be adjacent to 11B, 11C, 11D, so on and so forth. But I'll get calls from people who will say, can a guy combine 675G with 334F? Like, no, they're nowhere near each other. Anyway, point being, up here in the listing page, of course, we have these markets coming soon. By the time you're watching this video, they'll all be available. But this 1 acre lot is listed up here with the 2 lots in here. So, and by the way, I just want to say, if you're not looking for 1 acre, if you're looking for a 1/2 acre or a 1/4 acre, that's fine. One of the easiest ways to navigate our website is just to go to these individual things over here. They will link, each reference number will link to their respective listing pages, all the ones that are available anyway. So you can click on those, it'll take you to the listing page, or you can click on the GPS coordinates and you can see exactly where the property is located. Anyway, point being, with this property, we finally have one of these elusive, rare 1 acre lots out there. Now, before I get back to just how to buy this, I just want to say, just as far as zoning goes out there, because this is a 1 acre lot, because it is greater than 3/4 of an acre, which is you cannot find in the subdivision, it's defined as a buildable lot. Now, quite frankly, you can build on all of these lots. You just have to go through more permitting hoops. And typically the things you can build become more expensive because you have to conform to certain rules within the New Mexico EPA. I won't bore you with that if I haven't already. But the point is, with a 1 acre lot, you can install a conventional septic system. You could theoretically drill a well out there, though I will tell you the water table depth in this area is pretty deep. And you won't have those problems. So that's one of the special things about these 1 acre lots. Most of the people who have been building out there have been building unconventional structures, such as earthship homes, such as tiny homes, shipping container homes, or they've just been camping, living out of their RV, what have you, or vacationing in their RV, I should say. So point being, and that's another thing that makes this lot exponentially more valuable, is because of that fact, is because you can build on it. So there you go. Anyway, if you're interested in purchasing this land, it's very easy to do. Just come up here and click the Buy Now button. What I have found recently is I get calls from people and then I have to explain to them that the Buy Now button will allow them to buy something. So I'm going to mention here in the video, click the Buy Now button. It'll take you to the secure checkout page. You can enter credit or debit card information here. Click the next button, or excuse me, let me start that over. Enter the name for the deed. Enter all the tax information. Where's the county going to send the annual bill? Click the next button and then enter the credit or debit card information. I will just have you guys know that with all of our Taos properties, we've typically offered financing on our 1/4 and 1/2 acre lots. This 1 acre lot, there is no financing available. We're just looking for a cash buyer who can afford the $3,000 plus $150 dock prep fee, so $3,150. Anyway, point being, once you click the Buy Now button, you purchase the property. Basically, we're going to contact you. We're going to draft a new deed. We're going to email it to you. Once you tell us it's good, we spelled your name right, we got all your kids' names right, whoever's names are on these deeds, we're going to autograph and notarize it, mail it off to the county to be recorded, and they are then going to forward it on to you. So from start to finish, it's about 3 weeks before it's actually in your hands. That being said, as far as we are concerned, once you give us money, the land is yours. Go out there, have fun, do what you will. You want to start clearing the land out so you can start building, go nuts, have fun. Anyway, with all that said, thanks everybody for watching. I want to reiterate, I wouldn't have created a new Taos video if this weren't such a rare find out there, these 1 acre lots. So, hope this was informative, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys.